And then, of course, they started to get a bunch of leads from their website. Like, for example, this lead turned out to be a $9,000 job. This lead turned out to be $23,000 job. This lead turned out to be $17,000 job. And of course, like, these leads just kept coming in. So in this video, I want to show you the exact process that I use in order to get construction leads for one of my clients from Virginia. Basically, the way we get leads is by showing up on Google when people from their local area search for their services. You've probably heard about this. It's called SEO. Now, there's two things you need in order to show up on Google when people from your local area search for your services. That's Google My Business Listing and a website. The Google My Business Listing allows your company to show up on Google Maps. And then, of course, if you are ranking really well on Google Maps, your listing can also show up in the top 3 spots on Google in the so-called local pack, when people from your local area search for your services, of course. The reason why having a listing is super beneficial is because people can see your reviews, they can see your pictures, they can go to your website, they can call you directly, and it allows you to show up above regular search results. And that's pretty much the strategy that I used for dozens of my clients, and of course for this client as well. Now, you're probably wondering, what kind of results can a construction company actually get if they focus on this marketing method? And it really depends on your company, but this client received a bunch of leads from their website. They received a bunch of calls from their Google My Business Listing. Like, for example, here are some of the leads that they received from their website. And I'm going to also add a screenshot here as well, like with more leads. And you can look at these leads, and a lot of these leads turned out to be jobs. I started working with this client about a year ago. And when we first started, they didn't really know exactly what kind of services they should focus on. They weren't really sure if they want to focus on remodeling services, on concrete services, hardscaping services, or even something else. Now, don't get me wrong, like, these guys were professionals, but they just didn't have a specific niche. Now, this contractor lives in a medium-sized city in Virginia. Like, it's not too competitive, but it's still pretty competitive. Now, when I analyzed their competition, I noticed that the competition for concrete services was a lot lower and weaker than the competition for remodeling services, hardscaping services, or even landscaping services that they were actually willing to provide. Now, when I proposed to the client that we should focus on concrete services as their main service on their website, like the main service that we were trying to rank for and get leads for, and then of course we would focus on these other services like hardscaping and remodeling as secondary services, the client was pretty much happy with the idea, and concrete services were actually pretty profitable for them, so that was also a bonus. The benefit of doing SEO, of course, is that you get consistent leads over a long period of time. But that, of course, doesn't mean that you get them immediately. It takes a few months for everything to settle down. And the beautiful thing about this company is the fact that they were super cooperative, they were super helpful. They immediately started getting a lot of reviews from their previous customers, and they immediately sent us a bunch of pictures of their finished work. Now, if you're a company that doesn't really do good work, or you don't provide excellent customer service, then in my opinion, it's best that you focus on fixing those problems with your company before you go and try to get more customers, because marketing in those kind of cases can actually hurt you. No matter what kind of marketing you do, if you don't provide high quality work, and if you don't provide good customer service, then it will eventually just come to bite you in the ass in the long run. So like I briefly explained before, this strategy is going to consist of 3 core parts: Google My Business Listing, website, and then of course SEO. Now, don't think about these 3 things as 3 separate things. Like, these are all connected together and one doesn't go without the other. Google My Business Listing is going to be the main way we actually get traffic on the website. The reason why this is the case is because when people search for companies, this is the main place that they actually look at. Majority of people, when they say SEO, they focus on ranking their websites higher on Google. But with local SEO, when it comes to local companies, we're trying to rank our Google My Business Listing primarily, because Google My Business Listing is going to be the main thing that's actually going to drive calls and website visitors to your website and to your company, of course. And this is actually what all of your competitors are doing. The reason why ranking Google My Business Listing is going to be much more beneficial than ranking your website is because Google My Business Listing is the main thing that people look at. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on ranking your website. I'm just explaining that Google My Business Listing is going to be the main thing that actually drives calls and website visitors to your company. Now, good thing though is that all those SEO updates that you actually do on your website actually help your Google My Business Listing rank higher as well. So like I said before, like, all these things are connected together. Like, for example, your website. If your website doesn't look good, then of course, no matter what kind of SEO you do, when people go to your website, like, they're just going to leave. So your website also needs to look good as well in order to convert all those website visitors into actual leads. It needs to properly explain what kind of services you provide, which areas you serve. It needs to show pictures of your work. It needs to have some information about you as well. And of course, I'm going to cover more stuff later. But the point is, we're trying to get people on our website through Google My Business Listing and by doing SEO. And then, of course, on website, we're trying to convert those website visitors into actual leads. Now, this whole process is basically what SEO is about as well, because SEO is about ranking your website and your Google My Business listing higher on Google when people search for your services. Now, Google is basically just trying to show the most relevant search results to what the user is searching for. For example, if somebody is searching for apples, they don't want to show oranges. It's same with this thing as well. Like if somebody is searching for a concrete company, they don't want to show a remodeling company. So SEO is about helping Google understand exactly what kind of services you provide, which areas you serve, and then of course, there's a ton of different other factors that Google is looking at, but that's pretty much it. We're trying to explain Google why they should show our company above all these other companies. So the first step of this whole process is optimizing your Google My Business listing. And this of course includes just making sure that all the information on your Google My Business listing is relevant to what you're actually trying to show up for. So for example, when you're adding service area to your Google My Business listing, you want to make sure that you don't spread your business too thin, because you don't want to add a too wide service area. Google wants to make sure that the businesses that they show to the user are businesses that are pretty close to the user as well. So don't try to target too wide area, because this is just going to spread your business too thin. Same goes for categories. Like don't pick too many categories. Pick categories that best describe your company. You can actually search for the services that you provide, see what kind of categories your competitors have, and then of course you can use those categories as well if they match the services you actually want to show up for. Like that's a good tip. Also, definitely write a detailed description on your Google My Business listing. Try to include some services there that you want to actually show up for. Of course, add as many services as you provide to your Google My Business listing as well. If you have extra time, like try to add the description for these services. And of course, the key thing when it comes to Google My Business listing is that you need to get a lot of reviews, because even if you show up at the #1 spot, if everybody else has more reviews than you do, or if you don't have just a decent number of reviews, then of course nobody's going to look at your listing. They will think that you are either a new company or you don't even know what you're doing. So definitely get a decent number of reviews. A good number anywhere is a 2 decimal number, like 10, 20. Like those are good numbers, because when people see that you have 2 decimal points, then they think that, it's a lot. Second part is about building the website. So of course I can't show you the website of this client because I don't want to reveal their private information, but I'm going to give you a few tips on what you should prioritize when it comes to your website. So you need to make sure that it's actually user friendly, that it's easy to use. You need to make sure that the information you provide on the website is clearly visible. I mean, that kind of goes along with easy to use, right? But you also need to make sure that the services you provide, areas you serve, and all of that stuff is super easy to see on your website. Now, if you're trying to get more construction leads, then the main thing you need to add to your website are pictures. When somebody goes to a remodeling company's website, for example, they're trying to see more pictures of their work. No matter what kind of content you have on your website, no matter how much you praise your work, if people don't see pictures of your work, then of course, they're not going to believe you. You should also add more personalized information on your website. Like write a nice bio by yourself. What got you into this business? Like how you started your company. If it's a family business, then definitely write something about that as well. If you have a family, then add a picture of your family as well. Like that, makes people connect with you, of course. Like when somebody goes to your website, the main thing that you want them to think is that like this company provides X services in X area. The guy looks trustworthy. They have plenty of reviews. They do excellent work. Then of course, that's going to differentiate you from all these different companies in your area, and that alone is going to help you get more jobs. Now, the third and final step is SEO. And this step kind of never ends, because you always have to analyze your current results, make adjustments, and then of course see how Google responds. And it's an ongoing process. But of course, the goal with SEO is to show up as high as possible, as soon as possible, so that you can start to get some leads, of course. Now, everybody has a website and everybody has a Google My Business listing. And of course, Google wants to make sure that the results they show are actually relevant to what the user is searching for. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do with SEO. And that's why it's an ongoing process, because things are always changing and you always need to make some modifications to your website and to your listing as well. Now, the beautiful thing about this project and dozens of other projects that I'm going to be covering on this YouTube channel is the fact that once you do SEO and once you start getting results, it's pretty much all about maintaining your position, which is much easier than actually getting there. Like for example, this client, I've been working with them for a year, and it took them a couple of months in order to start getting results. But after that, they've been getting better and better results consistently over a longer period of time. And the beautiful thing about this whole process is the fact that right now they're starting to get more referrals from the jobs they got through SEO. So later on, honestly, they will just be able to stop doing SEO completely and then just, of course, maintain their business solely based off of referrals. And what's even more awesome is the fact that people who contact you through a website actually want to work with you. They looked at a lot of different companies from your local area and they decided to contact you based off of the things that they saw on your website. And especially if you included all that information on your website that I just mentioned before, that's going to help set your company apart from all these different companies in your area. And when they contact you, it will feel as if they already know you. And of course, it's going to give you a lot more leverage when it comes to the pricing and stuff. So of course, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in this short video. I really hope it's been helpful and I really hope it helped some of you. If you want me to take a look at your company, then of course, head over to logicalmarketer.net. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. And I mean, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions and have a good day.